Hello, this is a very quick video to demonstrate a few ways you might go about using sounds and rhythms with percussive sounds or drum kits in Cubase using a variety of different methods: Halion Sonic, Groove Agent, the sample track, and finally I've just added a standard R sample and try to create something rhythmic from that using a pattern editor. So to begin with, Halion Sonic, sometimes you can load up a drum kit and it'll bring up this beatbox plugin or beatbox, and in this you can explore by creating patterns, assigning patterns to different pads. So I've got two patterns here, and again it's quite tricky to do, but if you drag on one of these or click on one of them, you turn it on or off, but if you click and drag, you adjust the volume. So it's always very useful to not just have 16th notes at a constant volume, but to alter that volume slightly. These patterns do not have to be 16 notes in length. You can vary them down here with a number of steps. So pattern 2 has got 13 steps. So with the time signature track here, I've got a 4/4 and then a 13/16, so that this pattern works. And then there's one held note that plays the pattern continuously, and the pad trigger that selects that pad. In those pads, I've got a variety of different sounds. Or at least I thought I did. Let's just change this. So instead of this kick being let's just resave that. So hopefully, yeah, you can not only change the pattern, but you can change the kit that you're playing. So that's beatbox, quite useful for just blocking out patterns. Even in these, in a simple MIDI track, there are MIDI inserts, I think, that allow you to do beat designers, which are roughly the same thing. The next track then is a Groove Agent. You can see the look and feel of Groove Agent is very similar to Halion Sonic, where you can alter pitch via envelope, filter, amplitude, sample onset time. You can put fade-ins on your samples. So some of you may have seen videos where we've taken original samples that we've recorded and just dropped them into these pads, so you can load your own samples up into Groove Agent, and I would encourage you to make your own kit. But here's a pre-made kit. Okay, and they've made some patterns, and these are just MIDI files, and you can just drag these patterns, as I have done here, onto. So let me just show you. Take a pattern, and then you could edit this pattern to make your own sequence. So I'd always encourage you to make your own sequences, but what better way to start than by dragging in something that is already a preset. Again, I'm looking at this via pitch. I can zoom in and zoom in here, so I can select my bass, kick drum, and I can alter individual velocities. Let's just raise that up to give that some difference, and play this. Then I have a sample track. Now what I did here was I went to the media tab, looked for loops and samples. I think I chose some signature drums, yes. I looked to the snare. I took that snare, right click, create sampler track, and it's dropped into this sampler track, which we can have a look at. Let me just make sure I'm in solo for this. But I've done something different with this track and this sample, in that I've taken the pitch and started the pitch really high and done a kind of swipe on it. So it feels like that record player swipe. So on the release of the key, you get a swipe upwards. I think there's also something similar on a filter. That creates that sound. Using that quite sparingly. And finally, in Halion Sonic again, I've found a vocal sound. Let me just make sure this is going. Yeah, here we go. That's the wrong thing. I wanted that. So it's got a very short attack, very short release. It's got a huge filter on it. In fact, what I've done is I've automated this filter, which you can see here. So I have, let's show all automation. So I've used this ball. I've clicked right automation, and I've moved this ball to control the cutoff and resonance. And I've added a Flexphraser, which is basically a repeating pattern. So we can edit this. I think. Blah, 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 blah. Where do we do that? I thought we could edit it, but maybe we can't. No, you can create your own, and then you have a step sequencer here. But I don't think you can go in and edit the preset ones. There's loads of preset ones for all different types of repeating patterns and arpeggios. And then all I've got here in the MIDI is just a held octave. it's playing, again, synced to tempo. Adding all of those together, okay, the 13/16 doesn't work too well, but there we go. A variety pack of different ways of approaching rhythmic patterning. Thank you.